Hello everyone, video is about common push situations in World vs. World Zerg fights. First thing I want to mention is where you should be standing relative to the tag. A good habit to get into is whenever the tag is standing still, you walk right on top of it and stop until the tag moves. This lets you get a better reaction to when the tag actually moves. When the tag is moving, there is generally a triangle formation with the tag in front, DPS in the middle, and support in the back. This does not mean that support needs to be the last people in the zerg. You'll still need to be very close to the tag. DPS out of position doesn't mean you need to run behind them to stay on the back line. As long as you're close enough to press Mantra on Firebrand or Gyro on Scrapper and still hit the tag, you're in a good position. Any farther back and you'll end up getting caught by the enemy bomb and have to spend dodges or cooldowns on yourself. Next I want to talk about general push situations in Zerg fighting. It's important to know where your tag is and the enemy tag is. Even if you're unsure who the enemy tag is exactly, it's important to notice where the enemy Zerg is moving to. Starting off the fight, your commander might want something called a range spike. Range spike is a maneuver where you get just in range of the longest range skills in the Zerg. This generally has a large spike of damage, but almost no pulsing damage, so you need to simply survive the initial hit, and you'll be fine. Mesmers will try to pull people from our stack in front of us in order to single them out. This means you need stability and Aegis. The stability to prevent the pull and the Aegis to prevent the damage. Walking in front of the tag is the same as getting pulled by a Mesmer, which means you're very likely to die by stepping forward. You should avoid stepping forward at all costs on range spike and always stop when the tag stops when they move forward. There will be Revenants using an ability called Phase Smash, making it look like they're pushing, but it teleports them back so they're not really pushing. Even if you see other people walk forward, pay attention to the tag. There are three general situations when your commander wants to push. One is when you push the enemy also pushes back. You should watch the enemy as you're pushing forward to see how they react to it. If you can recognize that they're running towards you, you know that you're probably going to be dropping big damage such as wells and having to dodge their wells as well. So being prepared to dodge and to drop specific skills makes it much easier to react. The other situation is when the enemy is standing still. This likely means they don't see you, or they're just standing still for some reason. Generally, when that happens, you just have to worry about damage, as they're likely not really paying attention. Most groups paying attention will not stand still as you push into them. The last is when the enemy runs away. When they're running away, it's really hard to land damage, because they're already moving out of range but as you're getting closer. So what you want to do is land lower commitment damage, such as weapon skills or low cooldown skills. Using a skill like Wells, which is on a 40-second cooldown, and enemy running away, is going to very likely end up with you missing and not really trying to get a lot of downs. Instead, you use smaller cooldown skills and try to catch their backline. The other situation is the enemy pushes you first. In this case, your commander has the same three options: push, stand still, or run. If your commander pushes against them, it's just like how you pushed against them before. You want to be ready to dodge quickly and drop damage. This is very fast paced. You need to be able to decide if your damage is getting out first or if theirs is. If you know that your damage is dropping before theirs is, then you can drop your damage and dodge. If you think they're a little bit faster, you should dodge first and then drop damage. If you're standing still for some reason, your highest priority is dodging, because standing still is just going to end up with the Zerg dying. The only time you want to stand still is if the commander literally calls stand still and sustain. The last one is the commander calls to run. Turn around, make sure you're W keying forward, not S keying, and follow the tag. If you're a support Firebrand, you need to provide Aegis and stability through mantras. If you're a scrapper, you might want to provide super speed if we're in combat. The whole point is to get out of there while they're trying to catch the backline, to waste a little bit of their cooldowns. So losing people when we're running away is not ideal. When the commander wants to turn around after running, the first thing you're going to do when you turn around is, if the enemy is still pushing you, you're dropping damage and dodging. If the enemy is very close to you, you might dodge and drop damage in that order instead. The last one I want to talk about is stealth pushes. Stealth pushes is basically going to be who stealths first. If you're stealthing in front of the enemy and they're not stealthing, then you should have a lot more time to react, just like a regular push situation. If the enemy stealths in front of you, you want to provide light support with mantras as if you're running away. Normally the commander will run away, but you want to still provide light support, and then when the hit actually starts, you want to start supporting with stand your ground and other large cooldown skills. If both groups stealth, you need to check how much you have on your stealth timer on your buff bar. If you have more than 6 seconds, you're probably fine. If you have less, you're likely going to get out of stealth first, and that will mean that you need to dodge, because they're going to be targeting the people that they can see. These general pushes have small variations between them, making the reactions very consistent. Every single time you run up and to drop damage, you're probably going to need to dodge if they're also dropping damage, even though there may be slight differences. Learning to recognize which situation you're in will help you know what abilities to expect and when to dodge. That being said, there will be times where you are caught out or are slow to dodge or get stunned. In this case, what you need to do is spam your dodge button and stun break if you have it, or your firebrand should be turning around to stun break you as well. Even if the firebrand stun breaks you, you need to be dodging quickly to survive, because you're likely going to get stunned again if you stand where you're currently standing. So just spamming your dodge button will make you much more consistent with survival. I do have a movement video with timestamps that you can watch if you're having trouble sticking to tag or want to see situations with explanations. Hopefully this helps you know what to expect on pushes and gives you easier reactions to situations.